Right, good evening. Welcome back to VP4TV. We've got a little tournament about to start. There's 4 players in it. It's 9 ball in the 10-footer, and it's races to 5. It's single elimination, and it won't take long. And it's just about to go ahead in about another 3 or 4 minutes. We have, who have we got again? We've got Brainful out. LS3, she's back in some tournaments. And Bill and Spectre Dawn. And I'm surprised Larry isn't in it. He was maybe he's still playing in that 3-ball tournament. But we've got enough, I think, for a tournament. So we'll do a little bit of live streaming of that. So we have the final of the Virtual Straight Pool World Championship is all set for Sunday evening. And I've just forgotten the time. I think is it 6 o'clock on Sunday evening British summer time, and that's between Coldest Pillow and hang on a minute. Hang on a wee second. Coldest Pillow and Cobra. That's better. I think we're up and running now. I think we're up and running now. And I better shut that volume down because that's a bit annoying as well. Right, so here we are. It's VP4TV. We've got a 9-ball not Scotch doubles, a 9-ball single elimination tournament just starting, or just about to start. And last check we had 4 players in, so we should have a tournament. Hopefully, he says confidently. Let's see if I can get this thing up my phone. And right, that's me sort of organised now. Okay. We should be good to go. Let's have a look and see what's happening. Quick refresh. Well, we've got Brainful out, Coldest Pillow, Larry, LS3, Bill, and Spectre Dawn. This is just single elimination. I'll say that again. Single elimination, race to 5. And the bracket is up. And we've got, Larry's here as well. I never noticed Larry was in. Or I can't even remember if I said Larry was in. It's getting to that time of night. Larry's up against Coldest Pillow. Bill's got a bye. Brainful out's got a bye. Spectre Dawn's playing LS3. So we're going to go in and watch Larry and Coldest Pillow. Right, here we go. Well, I'm first in. No players in. I'm assuming they want to join the room. The other thing to mention is that the Virtual 9-Ball World Championship starts in 1 day's time, tomorrow night, and the sign-ups have stalled. There's still about 38 spots available, so even the most popular 9-ball game, we can't get a full house. I mean, it's a 64-spot tournament at the moment. So the fact that it's well short of the 64 means we're going to have quite a number of buys in the tournament. Anyway, here we go. Larry on the right, Coldest Pillow on the left for the lag. I'm just going to change the camera settings again, back down to 30 for live streaming. I prefer it that way. Right, so off we go. Coldest Pillow getting a little break from his straight pull practice that he needs to do up until the weekend in preparation to face Cobra. Dry break from Larry. Now, Coldest Pillow, again, is one of these players who very, very rarely will ever play in this 10-foot table, so he's going to find that different. And he's finished wrong side of the 2. Right, so he can push the 2 towards the 3, play the safety, and get a little bit of left English on this, and he can actually come down and use these balls for cover, but he's trying to use the 6 instead. Well, Larry's got room to jump over this. And the difference with the jump shot on this table is that the cue balls get further to travel. It doesn't quite have as much pace in it as it normally would in a 9-foot table, because you get further to go. And that's going to, I thought it was going to go down the rail there, just caught the knuckle. So this is now a good chance for Coldest Pillow. But let's see how he handles the 10-foot table. I had to play the combo. Not as easy in the 10-foot table. That's one thing that's guaranteed. But Larry's going to have a not too difficult combo in this 9-ball, because where he has to pot the 6 ball is actually quite handy. And he should get himself a reasonable line on this 7-9 combo. I don't think he'll be trying any heroics to try and bump the 7 ball out. He'll just take what he's got. Although he's now going to have to jump over the 6 to get to the 5. And he scratches. There you go. Unbelievable. So now it's cold as pillow with a fairly straightforward combo, but he's hung the 9. And Larry gets a reprieve. I presume this is a scratch tournament. There's no handicap in this match. And that's the second dry break. Larry's got, I don't know whether he can thin cut this, but he's also got an easy bank. 8 ball, I think, goes past the 9 into the side. Yes, it does. And once again, where the 7 ball's sitting is handy to get onto that 8 ball. So he really should be out here. And that's going to have to keep going. Well, now he's got to get a bit better control in the cue ball. I don't know whether he can just stun this in and hold it. Well, he's playing it soft just so the cue ball doesn't run away. And that should be good enough. You've got to watch that side pocket. If he's coming inside the 8 and the 6, he's got to watch the side pocket. Well, he tried to get there. Just a little nip back. And he needs to go back far enough. He wants to really just be rolling this 7 ball in and drop him down, but he hasn't done that. So now he's got to run the cue ball. See, getting it back to there, he was fine. Just a roll in, the cue ball would have gone to that side. Now he's going to have to run the cue ball, and that's not quite as simple. And that'll do, though. It needs to keep bouncing. Well, again, he's going to brush the 9 ball. And really, the 9 ball should be going sort of this direction. But he needs to watch the cue ball doesn't leak away like that. And all he's got now is a dodgy cut up the rail or the bank in the side. Looks as if he's going for the bank at the moment. I don't know that was the line. And so Larry's giving away 2 racks here. Sorry, tell a lie, it wasn't Larry, it was cold as pillow getting the gift there. I hope I'm not out of sync. You know something, I've got the funny, I'm just going to double check. I'm going to leave the room and come back in just in case anything funny is going on. Those balls will still be rolling. Yeah, everything's fine. So, the World Senior Snooker is on Channel 5 at the Crucible Theatre. Jimmy White has gone home. Figueiredo, the present champion from last year, he's gone home. Ken Doherty, he went home this afternoon. And I don't know who's playing tonight, but once this tournament's over, I'm going to watch a bit of that snooker. And then it's off to bed and back to work, the usual story. So Larry with a kick, and a good kick. Now, can he bank that through the gap? He certainly can. He certainly can bank it through the gap. Is he playing the thin cut? Looks as if he's playing the bank at the moment. Yeah, that was well done. Where's the cue ball? And that's pretty nigh perfect. Now, he just needs to let this It is tight past the 6, but all he has to do is just let the cue ball run out. He just wants it to run out to there, and that will be fine. Oh, he's caught the 6, though. And it's all to do with the 10-foot table. These guys, they play it on rarely. Who's that? Wayne Townsend? Is that who's playing? I've never heard of him. Well, I think I have heard of him, but I don't know who he is or where he's from. Me and Tam played cowboy doubles this morning. We were bloody awful. Where's the cue ball going? Oh, we were bloody terrible. Couldn't pot a ball. Played yesterday morning as well, exactly the same. I certainly, in my partnerships, I never won a match. Because that's when I play my cowboy doubles on Wednesday and Thursday mornings with the guys, and I was total crap. Which is another reason I don't play VP4 much anymore. Trouble with that is when I get up in the morning, before I take a fair bit of liquid on board, I've got double vision in the morning. It takes a good couple of hours for my eyes to clear up, and all I could see was double edges of balls all the time. I was missing fairly straightforward pots into the side pockets on the 10-footer. So Larry with the early lead, and well, the biggest problem he's got is the 5 ball being in the corner pocket and where the 6 ball is sitting. That is by no means easy to get anywhere reasonable in that 6 ball. So this is not a given, this rack, can assure you. And he's going to have to roll this dead weight, this 4 ball, onto that 5, and he doesn't want the 4 ball to go in. And that's not bad, because now he's got a nice little angle to spin up the table. Now, he's either going to try and get up and play a bank, or he's trying to get into that gap, and that's perfect. That's very well controlled. You've got to get out far enough, and he's achieved that as well. So that was the only problem, getting from, well, what turned out to be the 4 into that gap to get on the 6. And he's managed to accomplish that. Yeah, you've got to get a fair bit of pace in that cue ball in this table. So Cold as Pillow needs to get in quick. And that's the other thing you get on this table. You get just as many, if not more, dry breaks. I don't think I've seen a ball potted in the break yet. Now, I'm pretty certain the 6 ball comfortably goes past that 9. Yeah, there's a big gap there, so there's no problem there. But the fiddly one is getting on the 4 ball, because that certainly doesn't go past the 7. So that's going to be a problem. And I don't know that you can actually have the cue ball here and do much with the 4 ball there either. So it's definitely an issue. And that's, well, it's gone behind. It's tough. It is a tough cut. Played it well. Almost nudged the 6 ball into a problem position. You've got to get out into the table now for that 6 ball. And you've got to watch that 8 ball if you're checking this up to get up table. Well, that ain't going to work. Is it? Is it? Oh, well, it will work. That was excellent. He's lucky, so he is. He's lucky. But he needs it. He needs this rack to stay in touch. I'm not seeing all the chat on my phone again. This is bloody annoying, this YouTube app. I don't know why they don't just have one chat option on the app. Well, I think a ball went in this time, which is a miracle. The 6 ball is gone. Coldest Pillow's sitting plumb on the 1. Watch that 4 ball. Oh dear. That's a disaster. Good luck with jumping that. Yeah, that was a lost cause. Never going to jump that. So Larry's got a wide open table. Oh, he needs to bump the 8. Well, I think the best thing that did happen there was bumping the 8 because he's missed the 4. And he's left Coldest Pillow probably with no choice but to take a risk here and try and bump these 2 balls and get lucky on the 5. That's what he's going to have to do. Unless he gets really good on the 5. And, well, he got a clip on the 7 ball, but he's just left it just as bad. Maybe needed a wee bit more English in the cue ball to straighten it up to get a more solid hit on that. But there was never a guarantee you were going to have any half-decent shot in the 5 ball. But he's leaving it up to Larry to try and do something. And this side pocket is well in the way for a scratch here if Larry's trying to spin into the rail and come back and bump the 7 and 8 here. I think that's a no-no. It looks a dead scratch. But the one thing Larry can do is if he can get up the table, he can nail Coldest Pillow behind that 8 ball. That's the one objective he needs to be able to play. And he's decided to try and play the hook. And he has done, but he's left Coldest Pillow loads of room to jump over this. And the other problem Coldest Pillow has is, well, he didn't play the jump this time because the thing is, if he jumped that 5, he'd probably be barely seeing an edge of the 7. The cue ball would probably never have got back up the table. Now, let's see if he's got a... Yeah, he has. He's going to play for the little bump out. And that's worked out nice. So this is just about getting this cue ball right up the table as far as you want, just so you can roll this 8 ball in. Doesn't want to go too straight, though. He might have to stun this in quite firm unless he's trying to sneak down on the short side of the 9. But he's going to have to hit this fairly firm. No, he is sneaking down the short side, and he's got there. So Larry looks like he's going to be on the hill. 9 ball just sneaks in. So Larry now breaks for the match. And old habits die hard. He's dry again. But he's left a precarious 1 ball cut. 2 balls over the top left, so no problem there. 3 balls in the open, 4 balls down the bottom left-hand corner pocket. So it's all about the 3, 4 and 5, but he's missed the 1. And I would suggest that it's sayonara and hasta la vista, because Larry is going to be playing a 5-9 combo here for the match in a couple of minutes. As long as he can see the 3, he'll be on the 4. He doesn't want to hook himself behind that 7. You don't want to do that, Larry. He's fell into the trap. That needs to bounce, and that'll do. Now, the only thing is he wants to come off this 6 ball. He doesn't really, if he can help it, leave too much of a cut in this 5 ball onto the 9, because he could actually just push that 9 ball onto the short rail. He's got to try and get across the table, and he's... Watch where the 6 ball's going. This could get in the way. Oh, would you believe it? And Coldest Pillow gets a lifeline. Larry bumps the 6 ball, and again, the only place in the table the 6 ball doesn't want to go for Larry. It's right in front of the 5. And that's how funny things happen on a pool table. How's your luck? All right, 6 ball catches the knuckle, stays alive in the table, and Coldest Pillow's got another lifeline. So now it should be the 7-9 combo, and this is actually a lot easier, this 7-9 combo. Yeah, that 9 ball's just sort of outside the jaw. Although he could have got out into the table a wee bit better. But that will do. So, Coldest Pillow breaking to stay alive. And there's the result through from that first match. Spectre Dawn has taken down Brain Pill Out. There's that pattern with the 3 balls up top. All of the balls go because there's a nice little gap between them all, I think, this time. And the 2 ball has gone in. And Coldest Pillow trying to use that line of balls to duck behind, and that's well played. Judged the pace well. And Larry's blocked off in the angle, I think, to get there. Yeah. He's going to have to jump over the edge of the 5, miss the 7, and hope he hits the 1, because I don't think he's got any other way of getting there. Because the angle, the 5 ball's right in the way to get to that long rail. Yeah. He's going to have to get the old jump stick out. Miss the 7. Get the hit. And hope for a bit of luck. And that's not bad. I mean, it's not an easy pot, plus the cue ball. Well, it might miss those 3 balls. In fact, that's the best thing that would happen, to come around the other side, and it has done. And that's another very well played and well judged shot there by Coldest Pillow. And got to get that angle on the 5. Now that 7 ball should be out of the equation here. And yeah, he's far too straight. Yeah, he's going to take his medicine and leave the long one. Now he's got to watch how this cue ball comes off the 9, because it could easily scratch. And look at where the cue ball's headed. If he'd hit that any harder, that was going south, that cue ball. And this is not a gimme either. Much tougher situation, this table. That needs to keep running. And that is a perfect angle just to drop behind that 9 ball to take this match all the way. I never noticed. I presume it's winner breaks. I've not been paying attention. Yes, it is. So here we go. Coldest, no, it must be alternate break. It's Larry breaking. Right. It is alternate break. Well, that's definitely dry. It's definitely dry, and the table is wide open. Now, the 4-ball goes past the 6, so that isn't going to be a problem. Well, he wanted to get fairly straight in that 4-ball. See, now he's just having to control the cue ball again. Now, he hasn't got an awful lot of room to play with here. He doesn't want to come back too far, and that's fine. Bit more of a cut, but if he just plays it soft, he can have the 9 in the same pocket or up the table. So this for the match. And Coldest Pillow recovered well, and it's a 5-4 final rack decider win for Coldest Pillow. Right, so this tournament won't take long. Coldest Pillow now plays Bill, and Spectre Dawn is 1-0 down to LS3. In fact, let's just go into that match. Now, the problem with this shot is the pace of the cue ball. Judging it, you know, that 2-ball's barely going to get to the pocket, which it has done, but the problem with the pace in the cue ball is she's going to have to play the jump shot to get to this 3. And for LS3's sake, try and keep the cue ball on the table. And it just stays on the table. But no real control you can get over that cue ball when you're playing the jump shot. So now it's just going to be a kick. Well, no way you're going to jump that in a month of Sunday, so forget that idea. Just have to give it a blast off that long rail. What the hell's she trying here? Is she convinced she can jump that? I don't think she can. What do I know? But that's unlucky. That is very unlucky. That looked very dodgy to get over that 8-ball. She actually played a great shot. But like I said, knowing what the cue ball's going to end up doing, you've no idea. And obviously it was far too straight, and the cue ball tried to beat the ball into the pocket. So that's let Spectre Dawn off the hook. So 1 apiece. And that was Spectre Dawn's break, that second rack. So LS3's got a chance to redeem herself here in rack 3. I'll tell you what I had for my dinner. I had, what did I have? I had spicy I had spicy chicken fillets from Tesco, breadcrumbed and spicy, hot and spicy, that's what it was. I had hot and spicy chicken fillets, a big tin of beans, 2 slices of buttered bread, and I've still to get a cup of coffee, which I intend to do once this is over and I'm downstairs watching a bit of the snooker before I go to bed. That's the plan. Can you beat a bit of hot and spicy breadcrumb chicken? Salt and pepper on top, and some of my cheese sauce on top of the chicken as well. No, I haven't had a Chinese this week, and I usually have a Chinese on one of my days off. It would have either been yesterday or tonight, but I haven't bothered, so I probably won't have one this week, which is a rarity because I've been getting a Chinese for more than 40 years. Where's the cue ball ended up? Not bad, that is to say. That is pretty well done. Bit of a blind cut on the 4. Cue ball wants to, well, unless you stud this in and bump it, you're not really getting the cue ball going in a great direction. You've got to hit this a wee bit to get it out, I think. And it needs to get past the 9. Oh, again, just short. Almost judged that to perfection there. But more practice with the jump stick. Well, let me ask you the same question, Cold as Pillow. What did you have for dinner? Don't tell me quinoa and bloody bulgur wheat or something. Some sort of rabbit food. Don't tell me that. You'll really go down in my estimations if you tell me that. Pesto. Now, I have to confess, I am quite partial to. I sometimes get a pesto pasta meal deal in Tesco's when I'm in my morning break, because I'm quite partial to that. Usually in the summer months I do that when I don't fancy sandwiches. I usually get maybe a pasta, a cold salad dish as part of my meal deal. In fact, it's coming up to that time of year where I do normally change my my menu on my morning break. But Tesco's doing these limited edition sandwiches at the moment. Tandoori chicken and what the hell do you call them? Tandoori chicken and onion bhaji sandwiches. They are absolutely delicious, so they are. But they are limited edition, so they'll be there for a little while and then they're gone. But I've been getting them for the past few weeks. They're very nice. So we're into rack number 4, LS3, with a slender lead and a thin cut in this one ball. I'm pretty certain she can see it to cut it. Yeah, Tesco do the pork and pickle pies as well. They do a little 6-pack of them, the small ones. I get them when they're on promotion. I don't get them when they're £2.50 or whatever they ask for them. I never buy them when they're not on the club card. And I like to have a wee nibble at a pork pie when maybe I'm having a cup of coffee, just a little snack. I get them from time to time. That needs to keep going. It's another hook. Round and round the 3-ball goes. Where it stops, nobody knows, but that'll be good enough. That'll be good enough for Spectre Dawn. Cue ball still spinning. Well, you see, I haven't bought a bottle of Heinz tomato ketchup for quite a while. And what I do buy instead, is that in the Polish section in Tesco's, depends how big your store is, because the Polish section in Tesco's gets smaller in the smaller stores that you go into. But ours being the biggest store in Scotland, we've got quite a big Polish selection, and they do tomato sauce, Polish tomato sauce. They do one that's a spicier tomato sauce, which I get, and I only get them when they're on promotion, and it's actually quite nice. It's nothing like Heinz tomato ketchup, but it certainly beats paying £4 for a bottle of sauce, which is bloody extortionate. But I must admit, there is only one brown sauce you can buy, and that is HP brown sauce. You cannot buy any other brown sauce. Any other brown sauce you buy, all that daddy stuff and fruity sauce, that's all crap. There's only one thing you should ever have in bacon, and that is brown sauce on a bap. That is the closest thing to heaven and earth when you're hungry and you fancy a quick snack. Well, I don't know whether the bank is on, because I'm pretty certain that's 6 balls in the way. Yep. So it's a big cut in the 4. I don't really know what LS3's planning to do here, but she seemed to think she could bank that 4. That was never on as far as I could see. It looked far too tight. What do you mean debatable? There's nothing to debate about HP brown sauce. Do you know something? Casino Jim, who's from the States, we play cowboy with him in the morning, me and Tam, and we were talking about what we were having for breakfast, and I said I'm going to have a rolling bacon and brown sauce, as we call it up here. And Casino Jim was asking, and we said you can most certainly get it in the States, and he went and got a bottle of it, and he'll probably never go back to anything else. He loved it. All I need to do is open the lid of a bottle of HP brown sauce, and I defy anybody to do this. If you've never done it, open the bottle of sauce, stick your nose in the top and sniff, and I guarantee you'll be salivating. You cannot help. Your mouth just starts to gush when you smell the contents of an HP bottle of brown sauce. And that's what it does for me. You cannot beat it with a stick. Lovely. Right, so Spectre Don's back in the game. 2 apiece. There's 2 matches on in the Seniors World Snooker Championship tonight. I'm wondering if Tony Knowles is about to appear tonight, because I don't think he's played yet, or at least I haven't seen him. I'm assuming he's in the tournament. He's been in it every year, I think, since I started watching it. Oh, I mean, I love tartar sauce as well. Yeah, I mean, you cannot have a bit of fish in batter or breadcrumbs and not have it smothered in tartar sauce. Oh God. Yeah. You see, your nan's get more sense than you have then. Yeah. Definitely 100% got to be tartar sauce. Now the thing is though, if you're ever getting tartar sauce, do not get Tesco's own brand of tartar sauce. It's bitter. I got it one time and I threw it in the bin. Coleman's tartar sauce is nice. And there's another brand that we do in Tesco's, and I can't remember the name of it, but The brand that we do is probably more recognisable for doing cranberry sauce in a jar, but I've forgotten the name of the brand. But they do a nice flavour tartar sauce as well. But Coleman's is the best alternative. But the cheaper alternative's the one I'm trying to remember the name of the brand, but I can't remember them. But do not get Tesco's own brand of tartar sauce. It's shit. Take my word for it. I've tasted loads of tartar sauces over the years, and the Tesco one is bitter. It's not nice. Aye, just nix the little plastic pouches with them. Yeah. Our local chip shop, when you go in and get a fish supper, they'll ask you if you want tartar sauce with it, and they'll give you a couple of little plastic pouches on it, and it gets squirted all over my fish. I could actually just sit there and spoon tartar sauce out of the jar into my mouth and just eat it. It's that good. Right, so Spectre Dawn now into the lead. And breaking. Now, I heard something go in this time, I think. Or did I imagine it? I can't see what's missing if something did go in. The 4 ball's gone. And, well, again, Spectre Dawn's going to have to move this cue ball big time to get onto this too. Now, this 8 ball is in the way if he's cutting this into the side pocket, unless he does something with the cue ball. In fact, he probably would have ran into the 8 ball if he'd actually got a better line on the 1 ball trying to pot it, but he's missed the 1 in the process. And LS3 is going to have to check this cue ball. I mean, she can let it run, but the 6 ball might be in the way and the side pocket might be in the way. But if you go forward with a lot of pace and check it, you can come down inside the 9 ball. But if she's running it left side of the table trying to get there, that's the problem. You know, I don't understand that, why a player as good as LS3 can't see that being a problem. You have to go forward with loads of check and power to try and bring that cue ball down. Even if you go the wrong side of the 9, if you go right down the table, you've still got a shot in the 2. And it wasn't very well thought out there, LS3, I have to say. And Spectre Dawn could nail her here, just like that. That was asking to be trapped. Well, the angle and the line is there to get into the gap with the 3 and 6 to make a hit on that too. It's just whether she can pick that line. Again, the 10-foot table's not a familiar place that LS3 usually plays, but she's played it well, but I don't think she's got lucky enough, or has she? No, I think that 2 ball, there's enough there to pot it. And Spectre Dawn just giving it a bit of help in English to get there. And these are another good pot, though. These are far from easy. Oh, I forgot about the football as well. Aye, but those matches are pretty nigh over. Man United are, 3-0 up? I can't see them losing that. And Tottenham are 3-1 up, aren't they? And Chelsea are playing in the Numpty League, aren't they? No, are they playing that Bodo Glint or whatever the hell they're called? They're actually a pretty good team. They gubbed Celtic a couple of years back. Where are they? From Norway or Sweden, aren't they? Yeah, and it's an artificial pitch that they play on. So I'll have the snooker on one monitor and the football on my main monitor. That's the plan. That's after me going downstairs and watching a bit of the snooker down there with a cup of coffee first. So LS3 has a chance to keep herself in touch here. And really, there's got to be a major disaster here if she can't get out. Now, enough angle to stun the 7 in and come across for the 8. I don't know whether she's trying to sneak down on the short side again. Yes, she is. Which is fine, as long as when you're behind a shot, it's easy enough to do it. You don't want to land on top of the 8 ball. And a straight in 9 for 3 apiece. All looks simple, doesn't it? And LS3 breaking. I'm happy to go and check the... Right, 4 ball into the side. Let's have a quick look at the bloody tournament information here. Yeah, it is alternate break. I was convinced it was, and then suddenly I'm convinced it wasn't, but it is alternate break. Well, no prizes for guessing that LS3 is going to get put straight back in. Now, she needs to have a plan having played that shot. Let's see how she's going to get out of this. If she hits this too thick, she'll just scratch. Now she's going to try and kick it up the table, is she? Now, that might not be a bad plan. If she could kick it up table and maybe get it mixed in with that 7 and 8 ball. Oh, she's fluked to 3. Well, that helps. That also helps. The 1 ball stays in play, but Spectre Dawn's got a lifeline here because that 5 ball's going to be difficult unless LS3 can get a good line across table and play the bank. And Bill has taken down Coldest Pillow. So I think that's Bill into the final. Let's have a quick look. A quick refresh. Yeah, Bill's in the final, so he's waiting on the winner of this match. Bill's no mug. I'll put it this way. If you look at Bill's stats, he's played far more 9 ball than anybody else. Spectre Dawn must be catching up on him a bit. But I think Bill's still miles ahead of most people for the amount of racks he's played in 9 ball. So Spectre Dawn has probably got the biggest problem here, coming out of this 2 ball and getting somewhere to play something on this 5 ball. And that's a tall order. Well, looks as if he's made his mind up. He's going to try and formulate a combo here, I presume. Well, I mean, if he just gets right in on the rail on that 5, he can probably get the line to play the combo. That's unlucky, though. The 5 ball's gone dead. Now he's going to have to cut the 5 right to make the angle to pot the 7. Well, he's decided against it. Probably a wise move. He didn't want to ride his luck any more than what he had just done. Well, I've asked that every time we come round to these 9 ball and 10 ball World Championships. He's never done it yet. And he's long overdue winning one of these things, but he doesn't go into enough of them. You know, he doesn't give himself more opportunities by playing in the thing like the straight pool. He only sticks to what he's more comfortable with, but that limits his opportunities to win one of them. If you don't put yourself in enough of them, then you're going to have less opportunities to win one. And he's been doing that for a number of years, sticking to the same plan, and it hasn't worked yet. He's going to end up being the Jimmy White of VP4. But having said that, Jimmy White's got a lot better record than Spectre Dawn in the Championship Tournament Finals. I mean, he's at least got to 6 of them, but he's lost them all. Spectre Dawn hasn't achieved that yet. Well, there you go. I mean, yeah, you weren't going to enter the straight pool, but you've picked it up as you went along. And that's what Spectre Dawn doesn't do. He's not prepared to put in that effort to maybe expand his horizons a wee bit. And I think that works against him. Said that a load of times. Well, the bank is on. Most certainly the bank is on. And, well, he's not interested. The bank's definitely not on now. Well, it could be manufactured, but into this bottom right-hand corner pocket, I think you've got to... I think you might have to tweak the cue ball slightly to make the angle off that short rail to get the bank. But this is very difficult to keep safe at this distance, trying to get the right edge on that 6 ball. And there's not enough pace in the cue ball, is there? Oh, there is. Well, that'll do. And that's a pretty good reply from Spectre Dawn. And that actually blocks out a line straight up and down to play the kick. So she's gone obviously from the short end here. And that's a tight gap. Now you've got to watch this doesn't get to the rail too soon or it'll bump the 7. And in it goes. Excellent. Let's see if the replay is working. Yes, it is. I think I might have just caught that. Well, I set my camera going down low, but we caught it. So, LS3 is on the hill. Corner ball flies in. Don't know what one it was, but it certainly flew in. It might have been the 3 ball. Nope, I lied again. It was a 5. And talking about the 3 ball, it's buried. It ain't going anywhere. Well, you can play that Rossi Chinese guy or girl, whoever they are. They play snooker. You can play Uber snooker. He plays snooker. You can play Jose. He plays snooker. You know, there's that HK guy. He plays snooker. He accuses you of cheating. Oh, the bank didn't work. Now, here would be a crazy thing to do. To cut this one into the side if you can, let's have a look, and try and spin across and break the 3 and 9 out and still have a shot in the 2. That would be a crazy thing to do. And Spectre Dawn's not interested in any man numpty ideas. He's going to have to play the billiard. And that's all gone wrong. Now he's going to have to duck down. This is where you've got to be brave and play the 2-3 railer and duck behind that 3, 9 and 7. And I'd do this every day of the week playing cowboy. I would never even hesitate. Got to get the left-hand English on it, though. But he's going for the blast thin cut here, I think. Is he? No, he's going for the 3-railer, but he hasn't got the legs. See, that's the thing about the 10-footer. Spectre Dawn's caught out with the 10-footer there. That is more than obvious. He's left that 2.5 feet short of pace to where he wanted that cue ball to head. But of course, he's going to be hard pushed that he's not going to get another shot at this, because LS3's got no chance of getting on that 3 ball. Absolutely no chance. But the cross bank is on. That is certainly on. She's got to go for it. You've got she who dares wins. That's what I say. Cross bank in past the 4 ball. Wide open all day, that shot. You just got to make sure you get the cue ball out of the way. She knows that's a shot to play. There's no point in trying to paddle about and play safe. You got to just go for it, hell for leather. You're on the hill. You might as well have a go. No. Well, that ain't working, because Spectre Dawn can see the 3. And we're going hill here, I would suggest. Oh, no, it's not you. It's been messing with the servers. It's who I said it was. That needs to come out. It needs to keep going. Now, the only way this will go wrong is if he goes too far and hooks himself behind a 9, unless he's just going to stay in the middle of the table and take his medicine like that. You see, that's the most sensible way to play it, rather than trying to go around the rails and get on the inside of that 9 ball. If you just take the harder, the slightly more challenging shot, because you've still got to control the cue ball, but at least you're going to be able to see the 9, and you can pot the 8, and in fact you can cut that 9 into the side, no problem anyway. So we are hill. And Bill waiting in the final. What's the final? Is it a race to 7 or what? I never even looked at that either. I wish I would pay attention to what these tournaments are. No, they're all race to 5. And LS3 breaking off. 6 ball spins in. And that 1 ball is in the worst spot in the table, I think. Can she come off that point? She might be able to, I think. She might be able to come off the point and get out into the table for a shot in this too. Oh, it didn't have the legs. It didn't have the legs. That wanted to be over there. So the 4 ball is very much the blocking ball. You could go for the ambitious combo, or you could go for the crazy cut. I think she's going for the crazy cut and might billiard the 4, and you never know. Anything can happen here. Well, oh, no, I thought the cue ball was going to roll behind that 3, but I think LS3 might have played her last shot. Where's the cue ball ended up? Hang on a minute here. Hang on a minute. He's going to have to jump this. Well, I'm glad you're keeping me company, Coldest Pillow, because the 2 other people or 3 other people that are watching the stream aren't saying a single thing. Not a peep out of them. Not so much as a hello. But don't tell me you've abandoned me as well. Well, LS3 been given that last chance to take the match. Spectre Dawn failed to complete the jump shot, or at least get the ball in the hole. I don't know, because I was too busy reading the chat there. Now, how's that 8 ball on the rail? I think it looks fairly close, but it ain't frozen. Now, you've got to watch you don't get into the cue ball too much, because that almost scratched. That was a bit fortunate there. That's the thing about that shot coming across the table. Off the one long rail across this side, you can easily scratch. But she's got away with it and got a nice angle on this 8, but got to keep this flush. Got to keep it flush. And don't forget you're in the 10-foot table, because you need to get this cue ball right over the left side here. Unless you're intended to play some sort of bank on the 9, but you've got to get this cue ball right over the left side to open up the angle in the pot for the 9. That's a question of whether you go forward or whether you dig in to come back. It doesn't matter how you get there, but as long as you open up the angle, make the pot easier in the 9. Well, that's pretty much good enough. So this for the match and a meeting with Bill in this 9 ball on a 10-foot tournament. Oh, almost overcut it. Just in its last breath, it drops in. So LS3 going to take on Bill in this final. And that will conclude our proceedings tonight. Once this is done and dusted, let's get in there. LS3 will be in a minute. I'm sure she'd get better things to do at this time of night. Get this final over and done with. Well, that needs to be updated, that screen. Because we've got the final of the Virtual Straight Pool World Championships coming up this Sunday, early evening UK time. I think it's 6 o'clock, 1800 hours between Coldest Pillow and Cobra. So LS3 wins the lag. And still race to 5 in the final. And that looks dry. Well, Bill's going to have to snap this 1 ball in to get a hold of the cue ball. And he's played it well, but has he held it enough? Yes, he has. That was well done. Now, Bill just needs to get up top above the 4, which he can easily do because the 4 ball goes straight down the rail past the 8. He's got no problem in potting it. Well, he actually tried to come above it. I don't know why. It was easy enough to just drop that, and I think to get behind the 4, but he's got to watch where he goes with the cue ball here as well. Yeah, he got that all wrong. So LS3 is going to have a go down the rail. And the cue ball will be out into the table for the 5, so you're not even worrying about position here. You're going to be on the 5 regardless. She's overcooked it a bit though. Now, the cue ball wants to bump something here. It's a question of whether LS3 is going to do anything or risk doing anything with the cue ball to try and change its path, because it's definitely going to bump something. But how it comes out or how it turns out, we've no idea. It looks as if it wants to hit the 7. Well, she's actually sneaked round the back of the 6, and she does have a cut. Probably going to have to hit this, though. I can't see that unless she bumps the 9, the cue ball's heading up table. You've got to get the pace and the cut to get the 6 ball into the hole. Yeah, she sent it to the rail way too soon. Is the 7 coming to the rescue? I don't think it is. Far from it. But these guys are all been caught out with a 10-foot table, as they were in the previous tournament. What the hell tournament was it? Was it the was it 10 ball in the 10-footer that we had? I've totally forgotten what tournament it was, but it was 10 ball, was it? But loads of players struggled with the 10-footer, simply again because they never play on it. You don't get enough table time in the 10-footer. You're stepping up when you come to play on it, regardless of whether it's 9 ball or 10 ball. So first blood to Bill. 2 ball goes in. And I think the 1 ball might be blocked by the 9. Yes, it is now. What's Bill looking at here? He can just nudge behind the 9. And that's well played. Is it tight enough, though? Yeah, well, you can hit the 1 with a bit of right English off the short rail and hit it. LS3 chose to get him down. And there is a lifeline for LS3. The 3 ball's not exactly all that accessible. Or at least it's not going to be simple to get on it. Well, Bill's got a chance to lock her up again here, but now that's a weak one because he's not got that anywhere near tight enough on that 5 ball. It's an easy hit. And almost kicked it in. But it's gone far enough past the side pocket, and Bill going to try and lock LS3 up again, I think. Oh, just a wee bit too heavy. In fact, I think LS3 can pot this. Yes, you can. You can get a bus through there. Now, The angle is there to sneak across below this 6 ball. But if you get the weight of the shot wrong, you could end up behind the 8 ball. Now, what's LS3 thinking of doing? Is she going to try and cut that into the side? That's tight. That is tight into the side pocket. I mean, yes, it cuts up the table, but it's a thin one into the side if that's where she's headed. And that's well played. Just, again, doing the sensible thing, not trying to do any acrobatics with the cue ball. Leaving the tester cutting the 7, but she's bound to be on the 8. There's never a doubt on that. Now, this has opened up to a fairly straight 8 ball. Now, the simple thing to do is just to let this roll through as far as you want so that you're below the 9 and have a shot up table. If you start hammering this, because you're stuck to the rail, and the sensible thing to do would be to try and just sneak behind the 9 and not do an awful lot more. And that's the shot. That's the sensible shot. That's worked out perfect. Just squeezed past the 9 and you've got an easy roll in up table. You're never missing that. So we're 1 apiece. In fact, the 2 matches we've seen so far, if I'm right in thinking, they both went hill-hill, didn't they? We were watching Larry and Coldest Pillow. That went hill-hill. And then we watched Spectre Dawn in LS3. That went hill-hill. I'm saying nothing else. So both the matches have went all the way. And it wouldn't do no harm if we had another one. Oh, I started yawning big time already. There we go. It's downhill all the way, folks. Oh, he's overcut it. He's overcut it. Well, LS3 can take full advantage here. Now, let's have a quick look at how this 5 ball's sitting. Well, yes, it goes into the side. So the biggest target area is here on the table to get on that 5 ball. I mean, if you finish somewhere down the bottom end here, you're fairly tight to get. Well, I think you can get in there in that 5, but that you want to increase your odds to pot the 5 and come up here somewhere. But LS3's found a spot right on the money. Again, the golden rule here, get yourself up the table. Don't believe in yourself short in the 8 ball. It's so easy to get high enough up the table. You see, that's in that dangerous angle, especially when you start cutting this in and coming across left side. This is asking to scratch this cue ball. She's spun way above the pocket, controlled it well. And has the lead. Break goes to Bill. And a couple of balls will get in this time. And a dodgy 1 ball. Wrong side of the 1 ball to get to that too. I think he's got to Well, he went for the thin cut. I thought it'd been better going for the bank. That way he could get the cue ball running a lot more. But anyway, LS3 should have Bill in a lot of trouble here. You need to hit this one ball, half ball, bump it towards the 7, and hit the 8 and stick behind the 8 and 9. But you've got to judge the pace. It's got to be half ball. Now, what's she doing here? Is she trying to bank this? Yeah, that wasn't the shot, I'm afraid. That was not the shot. That was easy enough to roll up, hit the one ball, half ball, and set it towards the 7 and drop the cue ball behind the 8 and 9. Okay, it might be easier said than done, but that was a shot. In the end, she played a nothing shot and gave Bill an open invitation for a free goal. But again, Bill's still got an issue here. Unless that 8 and 9 are some sort of combo, well, they're nowhere near set. But, I mean, Bill, again, could get crazy here. He could try and break them out. We'll soon find out. Now, if he's coming back the way, this could go wrong. Well, it has went wrong because he's not potted the 6. And he did have a shot in the 7. But LS3's got a chance to open that gap. And it's certainly far from a gimme, this rack. Now, you know you've got to play the specific shot here. She took the risk, got the draw, got the split, and now just got to nick this 7 ball in and nick back and play the 8 long up the other end of the table, unless she's going to do something daft and go up table and try and play the combo. Again, you've got to do the sensible thing. And that's the sensible thing, although she's come in too far. But it's fairly straight into the other corner pocket. But you've got to get this line. If you hit that ball just a slight off-centre, it's going to a knuckle and it'll stay out. Just like that. Just exactly like that. They're not easy, those at that distance. And you only need to catch a little knuckle at that sort of pace and it will never go in. But that couldn't have ended up any better. Bill's missed the 8 ball. Would you believe it? I think he's missed it. The game might say that he hit it. It was so thin. Yeah. So a gift for LS3 for the 3-1 lead. What's the tips versus Cobra? Well, I would think that would be fairly obvious. First thing is win the lag. You haven't won a lag yet in those last 2 matches. What was the one? Aye. So you need to no, that one that you played the other night there was not to put too fine a point on it, a pile of shit. So you need to win. You need to win the lag. The break that you played was garbage. And if you win the lag, it's a lot more relaxing for you at the start of the match. But if you do end up breaking, you might as well play a conventional break and try and bring the corner balls back to the pack. You know, do the snooker break. But that's odds on you're always going to leave a shot of some sort unless you really nail it. But if you try the right-hand break with the left-hand English to sneak into the back of the stack, you've got to hit it spot on like you did in that other match. But it's a big ask to get that break shot right every time. But the most important thing is that you make significant contributions. Anything between 30 and 40 will be a good enough contribution, depending on how the score is. But you might have to beat your high run again to win this final. Well, it might seem like a long game, but it won't be that long. You think about that match the other night there, it barely lasted much more than an hour and a half because there only was 4 visits in it. And, you know, if Cobra's on his game and he puts a big run together and you can't respond again, then it might not take as long as you think. But you don't want to even contemplate that. You just want to play your game and play it sensibly. Try and keep that cue ball closer on the break shot if you can. Look for other alternatives. Sometimes the break ball's a side ball break at the head of the pack. Sometimes it's that. Sometimes it's the back of the pack. Be open to all options. Or more importantly, try and keep all options available to you until you're finally committed on where your break ball is. Because you've seen enough and done enough mistakes to know that you have to go to plan B and plan C sometimes. You've just got to be ready to adapt and survive. Because that's what it's about. But don't believe for 1 minute that Cobra's thinking it's in the bag. He knows that if he makes a mistake and you put in a decent enough contribution, that's already got the pressure on him. You don't want it to be like the last night, the other night there with Albie. The pressure was all on you because he got in and get that big score. You want the shoe to be on the other foot if you can help it. Oh, aye, the pressure's on him. You've got absolutely nothing to lose. Absolutely nothing at all. But there's a lot. But you've also got to realise that there's a lot more expected of you after the performance you put in against Albie. So, yes, there's just as much pressure on you to try and hold things together and do sensible stuff. Can't ask much more of you. That's all you can do. And you don't know. You never know. You know, it's all about the roll of the ball. You know, mistakes happen, and it's how you deal with them. And I'm talking about mistakes that you make and mistakes that he makes. If you make the most of the mistakes he makes, then you're a threat to him big time. If you come in and all you're doing is doing these little runs of 15, that's not going to get you anywhere. You're needing decent contributions, and you never know. This will be like Joe Johnson winning the World Snooker Championships. So LS3 with the lead and with a table that's crying to be ran out. Must get up the table a bit here. Well, hasn't really got up the table, but made sure she's got a decent angle. So the only thing you do with this shot is make sure you're not spinning inside and you end up scratching up in the top right-hand corner pocket. Because you don't want to leave it short in a 7-ball. You want to get up there. And that cue ball's holding its line. Now, the other question is can she get the cue ball out of there far enough up the table to get a shot in the 8? Because this 9-ball's a big blocker. That's going to take a chunk out of the cue ball. This, see, the thing is, if you pot that and draw it with bottom right English, you'll punch up the table a bit more. Now, that's head for the side pocket, and that's what happens when you're colliding with other balls. You never know what's going to happen. And so there's a get out of jail card for Bill. I would have actually, see that shot she played there, I would have hit that straighter and pinched a bit of the pocket and hit it with bottom right English so that when I hit the long rail, it pushed me up towards that side pocket, hopefully not scratching, but at least getting me on the 8-ball. Because I could see that I was going to take a big chunk of the 9. LS3 knew that as well. But unfortunately, the bad run was that the chip off the 9 took her into the side pocket. So we're now 3 apiece. LS3 breaking in rank number 7. And I think a couple of balls have gone again, have they? Yep, the 3 and the 8 have gone. And has she got any decent shot in the 1? And the answer to that is no. But she should have a shot in the 2 if she can complete this jump shot. No, it needs to run, though. It needs to run. I think she's okay. Yeah. So this is down onto the bottom rail. Either play it soft so it stays top side of the 4 and you're rolling the 4 into the corner, or come back up the table for it in the middle. So she's doing the sensible thing again and just staying up top. Now, this is important because the cue ball wants to run to the rail. And you really want to stop this short of that because you want to be able to get into the cue ball so you get a bit more control over it. Yeah, now, she's coming off the rail, which is good. But you see, the problem is she's gone a bit too straight. There's enough angle. Now, the way to do it is a big stun and watch you don't get hooked by the 7. She's coming the shorter side of the 6, and that's well done. And I think she can just sneak in and play this backup table, this 7 ball. Yeah. Maybe a wee dab of right-hand side just to help you over. Just a wee feather like that. And that's exactly what the doctor ordered there. No, I don't think there will be. I mean, let's be honest. Here's a comparison for you, Coldest Pillow. The 9-ball World Championship, the last time I checked a couple of hours ago, there's still 38 empty seats. And that's a surprise. It's well short of capacity, that 9-ball tournament. Struggling to get people in these tournaments, and I think a snooker tournament would be a bit embarrassing having a snooker world championship with like 8 people in it. Admittedly, out of those 8 people, only probably 2 folk have a chance of winning it. Now, Bill's break was dry. LS3 on the hill. And no shot in the 2. Well, I mean, I'll correct myself there. There was an ambitious cross double on that 2 ball into the left side pocket. That's if you're crazy. This 2 ball, I think Bill can see enough of this to cut it and pot it. No, maybe not. But if he was trying to get up table behind the 9, he was way short of that. Now, can you just bump this 2 ball through and use the 5? Or is LS3 trying the combo? No, she's trying to sneak it through. I think I would have just sneaked the 2 ball through and used the 5 to hook Bill on that 2 ball. She might be Bill's administered the punishment. Not a difficult hit though. I'd be giving this a good smack like that and hoping for the best. Well, this is tough. You've got to blast it and get it flushed down the rail. And Bill's not prepared to take the risk, but LS3 might. Because this is a run out for the match here. She's got the opportunity. Big pot, this 3 ball. It is not easy because you can easily catch that side pocket knuckle going down the rail. And she's played that very well. Excellent. Well, another tester, but less challenging, this 4 ball. Well, 5 balls wide open, and it really should be all over. Now, again, you've got to get a hold of the cue ball here and get good control of it off that rail and out for the 6 so that everything's simple. And that will do nicely. That was well controlled. So it looks as if LS3 is going to be the daddy tonight, even though she's the mummy. Well, don't let the cue ball run onto the 8. Make sure you're just checking out into the table with this cut angle in the 7. I think it's well away from the 8, to be honest with you. I think, yeah, well away from it. Right, well, that will conclude the proceedings, folks. Just a quick tournament. And I'm heading off to watch a bit of the snooker and catch up in the football as well. I suppose I should say thank you for your company, Coldest Pillow. I've got nobody else to thank. Who these viewers are, I have no clue. But whoever they are, I will see you again on Sunday early evening for the virtual straight pool world championship between Cobra and Coldest Pillow. And until then, I will bid you good night, and we'll see you again soon, folks.